Hey, it's Buddy Lee. Welcome to my channel. I finally took my 6-star Ultron to rank 3, and I've kinda given Ultron a hard time since his buff. My initial impression on him after the buff was meh, and then he's been riddled with bugs since he was released, but now he's working as intended, and I've warmed up to him over time. So in this video, we'll do some gameplay in Act 7.3.6 to show him off at rank 3. We will be bringing synergies, and here the important one is Hulkbuster, but we're going to add some icing on the cake with some extras since we're going to be taking the entire path and boss with Ultron. We have this one for tech champs with Cap Infinity War. If I had Vision, I'd use him, but this synergy drains the defender's power to 0 after they throw a special attack. Then we have some extra crit rating and health. Then the MODOK synergy lets you build up more bleeds by having the critical function also count for the damage function. Then a little more health, and the important one with Hulkbuster that lets cauterize function linger for 7 seconds after any special, which is huge for increasing Ultron's damage. So this path is kinda meant for tech champions, and there's a lot of reading involved with the nodes, but basically, we armor break on parry, there's a bubble shield, and whenever one of our armor up buffs expire, we have a chance to gain a nice fury buff. So there are several potential rotations with Ultron. I usually go to an SP2 a little shy of 3 bars of power, then throw SP1 and dash in during the SP1 stun with a medium and a heavy to drop big damage over time. For this fight, I spam SP1 to finish. I was gonna attempt to land the heavy with 3 cauterize functions active for huge damage over time, but we KO'd him before I could get there. The only issue that I have with this guy is that evade. It's usually not a problem and you can use it to your advantage, but it also activates sometimes when you don't want to evade. But if you pay enough attention, it's not a huge deal. This fight was a pretty good example of the cycle that I've been using. An SP2 followed by an SP1 and then a medium heavy for the big damage over time, and this pretty much ends the fight. Ultron's SP2 is nice for a stand-up intercept as long as the defender is under a bar of power, and we can go right into our SP1 and then medium heavy. This time I go with 2 SP1s and we land the heavy to finish with 3 cauterized functions for almost 50k. Ultron has been just cruising through these fights. These last 2 we have to play around Overseer's auto block, and then the last fight on the path is Professor X, but even with that, Ultron is going to handle them quite well. So once I threw the SP2, I was playing this to discourage Overseer from using specials so that we can keep our damage cycle going, and we finished things off with a 40k plus SP1 and a 22k medium attack. So we made it through the entire path and still have 84% health, not to mention we had 2 sets of regen in our back pocket if we ever needed it. Now it's time to take on this Kang boss. Alright, that first phase went down nice and easy. That was super close getting to the SP3, but we made it. The next prompt is 0, so we dump our power with a couple of SP1s. Here the evade gets me a little. I tried blocking and the evade triggers on Kang's SP1, giving me more power instead of the power drain. I get this last SP1 off just in time to take me under a bar of power right before the 0 timer expires. That evade gets me again here, forcing the power gain on me, and I take damage for missing this prompt. I miss another prompt on this SP3, and now things are starting to get a little sketchy. Another close call, but we get there on this SP3. Now we take an SP1 to the face, and then the follow-up combo from Kang, but we're still hanging on. Alright, we did a nice chunk of damage. Now we got to get through one more cycle of prompts and we just might get the solo. Now we get tagged with the heavy trying to counter it, and we have 5% health left, so one more slip up and we're definitely done for. We made it somehow to the final phase. Now time to intercept and try to make it to that SP3. Kang was very kind here and doesn't throw his SP3. We bait out his heavy and instead make it to ours, and the fight is done. So my appreciation for Ultron has really increased over time. His damage is pretty crazy, but it's dependent on one synergy with Hulkbuster, but at least Hulkbuster is a good champ himself, and his damage can still be decent without it. I might do a video separately with Ultron without any synergies later on. But that's going to do it for this video. If you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.